Hey everybody, my name is Jordan and I'm an engineer at the Flow Foundation. In this video, I will be walking you through the much anticipated Crescendo upgrade which will be happening this year, and what you as a developer need to know in order to ensure that your project's migration goes smoothly. This video will include a general overview of the upgrade process as well as an example using the example NFT smart contract. Now, the Crescendo upgrade will be introducing a number of improvements to the Flow blockchain, including various performance improvements, security enhancements, EVM equivalents, but lastly, and most importantly for the sake of this video, is Cadence 1.0. You can read more about the entire Crescendo upgrade on this page here. You can learn about all of the exciting new changes coming to Flow, and I'll put a link to this in the video description. As you may already know, Cadence 1.0 will enable a variety of improvements to the language, such as speed, security, and efficiency, but it also fundamentally redefines how the language works and is used by developers. Developers will gain access to over 20 new features and enhancements which streamline workflows, reduce code duplication, and improve code readability, making writing and understanding smart contracts much easier. For this reason, the Cadence 1.0 upgrade will be mandatory, and it is a breaking change. You must upgrade any existing smart contracts, scripts, and transactions in order for them to continue to function on the Flow network after the Crescendo upgrade has completed. To give yourself enough time to prepare for this upgrade, ensure that your contracts are updated and staged by the end of April. And for many developers, getting up to speed and implementing these changes takes about 1 week. So as a developer, this Cadence 1.0 upgrade process ultimately breaks down into 4 steps. The first is the learn phase, where you understand all of the Cadence 1.0 changes that are coming. The second is modify, where you update your contracts, transactions, and scripts accordingly. The third is test, where you test locally on the Flow emulator and you can perform a local state migration, and this includes all of the latest standards and core contracts. And the last phase is the final stage, which is the stage phase, and this is where you take your updated code and you submit it to the network in order to replace your old code when the Crescendo upgrade commences. All right, so to get started with the learn phase, there's a number of resources which are available to help you familiarize yourself with all of the changes coming to Cadence 1.0. To start off, this forum post that was written by Bastian, one of the Flow Foundation's Cadence language engineers, will be your go-to resource for an initial overview of all of the Cadence language changes. This includes all of the new features, breaking improvements, and everything else that's changing with the language. It's very extensive and has in-depth explanations like the motivation of why this change happened, description of what the change is, an example even of how you can change your old code to this new code. It's great for both an initial summary of all of these changes, but it also is a great tool for working through specifics in your own code when you're unsure with what needs to be changed for Cadence 1.0. The next resource that we can move on to here is this Cadence 1.0 migration guide. And this lives on the cadencelang.org site. It's essentially a full end-to-end overview of how developers can upgrade their projects to Cadence 1.0 from start to finish, including timelines related to migration, commands needed, tools needed, anything else you need to know in order to migrate your own project. It covers some similar topics, or very similar topics to those in this video, but it's more in depth. It also includes specific guides for non-fungible tokens and fungible tokens, as well as core contracts. And this is because there's specific rules that exist for upgrading your fungible and non-fungible tokens, as standards for some of the network's core contracts have breaking improvements as well in Cadence 1.0. This is in addition to changes to the language itself. But also more broadly, this entire cadencelang.org site has Cadence 1.0 reference documentation. So if you switch here to the 1.0 tab on cadencelang.org, all of these docs will be updated to Cadence 1.0 references. So you can use them just how you did with the 0.42 documentation. And if you're unsure about something, there will be documentation explaining how to use it. So the last resource I'll give a shout out to here is Emerald Academy's tutorials related to migrating to capability controllers and their adjacent tutorial to migrating to entitlements. When speaking with developers, it was found that these two changes were some of the more tricky parts to work through when migrating code to Cadence 1.0. So Jacob Tucker from Emerald Academy has made some great videos as well as tutorials, written tutorials, in order to show you how to update to these new APIs. And so you can work through these in order to learn about it or help you work through your own projects when you modify your code.